Hi, today I want to talk about tissue expanders after mastectomy. For those of you that are just now catching my videos, I had a bilateral nipple-sparing mastectomy about, 11 weeks ago, 10 and a half weeks ago. And I have the tissue expanders in now, and I did want to show um, kind of what they look like and show my scars and explain a few things about them and why they are here. I also have cording underneath this arm, which is my cancer side. This is the right side. And I have what's called cording under here, which kind of means like everything tightened up under there and um, it kind of locked in place a little bit and froze. So I have physical therapy to try to stretch that out, and every now and then one of them will pop, and it's not that pleasant actually. So I have a little bit of issues with the shoulder rotation and whatnot from the surgery. But that's what happens with that. Is that you see how deep that is in there? That the arm doesn't kind of come up all the way. I'm getting a lot of pain in this area. I'm getting pain up the back of my arm. It's like weird and a little wonky, and you can kind of see where the expander, it's like folded over. It was actually a lot worse than this. When I first had the surgery, I actually was completely chafed under there, and it was pretty awful. The skin was very raw for like 3 weeks. I was in terrible pain. And I finally, the tubes went up through here and around, and that was rubbing on that constantly. So once they got the tubes out and I put some lotion in there, I was able to make it a little bit better. Some of the swelling went down. That helped as well. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the tissue expanders themselves and why they are in here. As opposed to going directly to implant. When a woman has breast cancer and she has the bilateral mastectomy, they don't stage you until after the surgery is complete. So they want to take the tumor out, they want to get all the pathology, and then you find out whether or not you're going to have radiation or chemotherapy, and all of those things can damage the skin, and that can change the appearance, the aesthetic look of the plastic surgery. So they wait on the implants until you have had everything that you need to do. So they go in there, they in my case with full nipple sparing, I have the scars on the sides, which I will show in a few minutes. And they took all the insides out, all the nerves, all the tissue, everything. So I kept the entire outer pocket of my breasts. I went over the muscle and not under. And I did that for reasons that I'm athletic. And I wanted a faster recovery time, as well as they're painful. I think they're a little bit more painful if you go under the muscle. Plus, I would lose about 5 to 10% of my pec strength permanently if I were to go under the muscle. So I made a decision on my own that I wanted to go over, even though I have thin skin. And thin skin means that you can visibly see, possibly see the implant more than on somebody with thicker skin. There's a little bit more to play with. And what they do to hold the implant in place is they make a pocket out of alloderm, which is cadaver skin, which I kind of thought that was pretty cool, actually, that they make it out of cadaver skin. But they make that little pocket, little hot pocket I called it, and they sew that in there underneath, which will kind of help to give me a layer underneath the skin, and also to protect my chest wall a little bit, and give an apparatus which will hold the final implant when it's time to go. So I have the mastectomy done, and the surgeons go in, and this was the breast cancer side. So the breast cancer surgeon came in and she did her thing over here, and then when she moved over to basically the healthy side, but I had the bilateral. So then the plastic surgeon came in, and the plastic surgeon started on this side, and she puts the alloderm in, and then they put these tissue expanders in, which are temporary. They are very hard backed, which I'm going to show here. You can kind of see, well, also you can see, this is kind of like the, it's not inflated all the way. I stopped where I wanted to. I'm sure that there's room in them. So think of it as like a plastic bag that's not quite full underneath, and you can see it. Also, they do take some of the breast tissue goes kind of a little bit higher than where the mounds of your breast are. So it's probably, and I'm pretty bony anyways, but it's probably a little bony. I also had them remove a mole here. So you can see how these are kind of like turtle shells full of cement. Is how I said they are. They're turtle shells full of cement. And they don't move. And so they are really like, they're very hard. They don't go anywhere. I don't need a bra right now. Which, hey, whatever. But, that's what they do. And, so they do that at the surgery. And I started out with just 60 cc's in the saline, in the pockets of them, because right after surgery, they don't want it completely like compressed against your chest wall. It just like gets the expander off your chest wall a little bit, so it allows that area that's been surgically removed to heal. So they'll put a little bit in there to get it off the wall, and then they wait like, I think they waited 3 weeks, and they gave me, it might have been 2 weeks, and they started giving me 30 cc's at a time. So there's like a magnet, I can't expose myself, but right up in here on both sides. You can almost see it under my skin, but there's a magnet. You can feel it, but you can't really see it. That they use to locate the ports. So the ports are right here, and they go in once a week, and they stick a big needle in there, and they kind of just pump in the, I got 30 cc's at a time. I know there's some women that get more if you're larger breasted. I am a very small framed person. I'm about 5 feet of nothing here, maybe a sliver over 5 feet. And I was about 120 pounds when I went in for surgery. So I was a 34B, and I only had 144 cc's of natural breast tissue. So I've seen on the internet a lot of women saying that they're getting their final fill today, and they're at 450 cc's, and they're a small C. And I'm like, whoa, because I'm currently, these are 180 cc's. And as you can see, they're pretty big on my frame. These are going to be a C cup on me, and they're 180 cc's. So when it comes to the cc's, I know that question I see asked a lot on the forums and things, and honestly, it is your own body type. Each and every woman is going to be individual in that regard. It just depends on your size. Now, she will go 30 cc's higher to, I think she said she's going to go to 215. These are 180. She's going to go to 215 for the final implant because you lose projection. So as far as they're sticking out right now, the silicone implants, the final implants, will be soft and squishy, and they'll have gravity involved. They'll be much more natural feeling, and obviously they're a little rounder and everything than my natural breasts. So when they have a little droop to them, then you don't have this like hard boom projection that these have. So they go a little larger, so you have the same projection. I don't know how I'll look at a bikini with them a little larger, but hey, whatever. So the scars I will show, and this side's pretty good. It's almost healed up by the nipple area. You can see that. Right up in here is very slight. And I'm only 11 weeks post-op. It's pretty nasty right down in here, but this is where the tubes were sticking in me. And, I mean, when she goes in and does the permanent implant, she's gonna fine-tune these, I'm sure. But this isn't that bad. I wanted to show you that with my bikini pulled over, you actually, with a bikini on, you can't even see it. It's gone. It's not bad. So I could totally rock a bikini this summer. That's what I'm saying. But the cancer side's a little worse. The cancer side is a little darker. But, again, you know, considering it's not too bad, 11 weeks post-op. If you can get a good peek at that. Might even look a little worse on camera than it actually is. But, that's what they look like, and you can see the whole thing. I mean, this feels just as pleasant as it looks. Not good. But, but overall, the exterior package, they actually look pretty nice. The skin looks fantastic. And I had to admit that for 3 weeks after surgery, I actually had the tubes in me for 3.5 weeks because the fluids would not go down. You have to get under 20 milliliters of fluid before they will take the tubes out. And I was sitting at like 24 milliliters on week 3 on the cancer side, and it just would not go down, which was really frustrating. And I had a few tears over that. But I would not look at what they had done to me for 3 weeks. And it might have been just a little under that, like 2.5 weeks. So I had these big gauze pads that were over everything. And I had the surgical bra, which I'm going to have pictures of in another video. I would just change the gauze and kind of hold it in place and then change the bra for a fresh one and just not look. And I think it was almost 3 weeks. And the gauze slipped a little bit, or I had to shift it because it had moved. And I looked down and I could see just this area right here. And I was like, oh, it's nice. It looked beautiful. The skin was very creamy and nice. And I thought I was going to see this mutilated black and blue, I don't know what I was thinking that I was going to see. I was horrified at what I was going to see. So after I saw that, I got a little braver, but I still didn't look at them until I got the tubes out and I was able to take my first bath. And I was able to wash here. I had to take a bath because I couldn't shower. So I had to wait at least 24 hours after the tubes came out before I could shower. So I took my first bath, and I washed the area, but I didn't want to get water in the tube holes. So I used washcloth, and I felt chills. And I actually felt them in the nipples, and I looked at everything. Of course, that's the first time I actually had looked at everything, and was very surprised to find that everything worked as well, which I thought the nipples would be kind of ornamental. I didn't realize that they would still function. I will never feel them in a sexual way ever again, which is kind of a shame. But I was pleasantly surprised that not only do they respond to temperature and touch and all that stuff, but I can feel that they're responding. I was aware. It wasn't a ghost pain, which is what I thought it was. But no, and goosebumps is kind of what let me realize that they still worked. So that is a pleasant surprise that I did not realize that I was still going to have. Essentially, they're my breasts. The only thing I'm losing is feeling, and that does kind of suck. I won't feel ever sexual, or it doesn't feel good to touch them or anything. But overall, I'm really glad I was able to have this procedure, because it minimized what I had to go through, and I think they're going to look great. I mean, right now, obviously they're kind of lumpy, and you can see that. And there will probably, when the implants come in too, I'm going to have a sharper, they don't have a nice slope like a normal breast. They're going to have a little bit of a sharper deal. And they're a little flat here, because, like I said, they can go bigger than this. And I chose to stop. I'm where I want to be. I enjoy the size that I am, and I think too much bigger would be too much bigger. So, that's about all I have to say about these for now. So I'll catch you in another video. Please like and subscribe. And as always, I'm going to put some links in the bottom for some cancer sites that are very helpful. So thanks for watching.